to do this intro because the last time my phone decided to activate Siri for no reason whatsoever in the middle of my intro. Yay! So anyway, I'm Rainy. Welcome back to Rainy Day Reads, and today I am excited to talk to you about a read-along that I am participating in, and it is actually the read-along that was kind of the final decision maker in me starting this YouTube channel. I heard about this and I thought I really want to participate, but just reading it on my own and commenting on videos just seems kind of boring at this point. So I thought, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and try to participate a little bit more fully in things like this. This read-along that I'm participating in is the Betsy-Tacy 2019 read-along, and that is hosted by Kate from Kate How, Katie from Life Between Words, and Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading. And I knew about Kate and Katie's channels long before this, and they're two of my favorite booktubers. And Kelly I found from the announcement video on Kate's channel for this read-along, and I've started watching her videos and really love them as well, so I'd fully recommend watching all three of these ladies. They're very knowledgeable, very charming. I love watching their videos. They're just very informative and delightful. So anyway, back to the Betsy-Tacy series. We are going to be reading entire Betsy-Tacy series, as well as a few other books from, Maud Hart Lovelace is the author, sorry. And these books all take place in Deep Valley, Minnesota, and which is a fictional place, but it is modeled after the town that the author grew up in. These are all books that are taken from memories that the author had growing up, and she would make them into stories for her daughter, and eventually they became the Betsy-Tacy series. The first two books we read in the read-along are the first two books in the series, which are more elementary level. And this bind-up I have has the first 4 books in it. And so we read the first 2, and they are, I would say it's more of a novella, for each one at this point, because they're just 5 years old when it begins, and they're 8 years old in Betsy-Tacy and Tib. So the girls grow up throughout the series, and from what Kate says, the reading level goes up throughout. It starts off as just charming vignettes of childhood. They make a sand store, the two of them. Betsy and Tacy just do a bunch of little things that kids do. They make a fort out of a box, climb trees, they pretend to fly. Just all things that little kids have done for centuries. Obviously, this book was in the 1890s, but I remember doing these things in the 1980s and 90s as well, 100 years later. So it's just so charming to see these things and know, hey, I did those things. Yeah, I remember doing that. The one part that actually was kind of the most memorable part of the first book for me, and I won't give this away, but something happens that is very dark for a child's book, you would normally think. But it's a very real situation that does happen to some children and some families. And just to see the way Betsy and Tacy come to terms with what's happened and rationalize it and think through it and try to deal with their pain and just their confusion about what has happened was really refreshing, and I thought very childlike, but yet very profound at the same time. And it was just one of the best parts of the first book for me. Um, and then, yeah, and then it quickly went back to, kids just being kids, because that's just kind of how kids are. They're resilient and they go back to the way of things, and they're on to more adventures. So, and then the second book, a bad thing happens there too, but it's not quite as dramatic. But at the same time, after that point, the girls realize that it could have been bad, and at that point, they decide to cut off some hair from each other so that they would have something to remember each other by, and that obviously does not go well. That is one thing that I don't think I ever did do as a child, but I know a lot of people did. And I, yeah, I had to laugh at that one because as an adult, I can understand the parents' perspective of that more than the child's, but I can totally see myself and my friends doing that at that age too. I mean, I'm surprised that we didn't, quite honestly. Um, Maybe we did and I blocked it out. I don't really remember. I'll have to ask my mom. Oh. But yeah, Betsy-Tacy and Tib was more of just the cute things that kids do and the troublesome things that they do. And you meet Tib, who moved there from Milwaukee, and she is more affluent than Betsy and Tacy. But you just see how the girls don't care about that. They're just like, oh, this is just how Tib is. She thinks more rationally than us, or whatever. And they just think, oh well, we like her anyway. They say that a lot in the book, that Betsy and Tacy liked her anyway. and But Tib is by no means snotty. She's just more. She kind of thinks through things more than Betsy and Tacy do. And surprisingly, even though Tib is more affluent than the other two, she is expected to do more at her house. She knows how to cook. She takes care of her younger brother, I think. Yeah, she has a younger brother. She takes care of him a lot. She has chores to do, and she's not allowed to play until she does her chores. And Betsy and Tacy, you don't really see as much of that. They do have to take care of their younger siblings, but they don't know anything about cooking at that point. I mean, they're only 8, but in those days, you did know about cooking at 8 years old, probably. At one point, and this made me laugh because I remember doing something like this, they decide to make everything pudding while their parents are away and they're watching the house. Now, my thought is, why would parents put 8-year-olds in charge of the house? But then I have to remember this is a different time. So, but yeah, they make an everything pudding, and then they try it, and you can imagine what they thought of it. Yeah, it was a really cute scene, and I can just remember doing things like that. Although mine was, I made nature stew, and we put a lot of things from the backyard into it. And one time, I think we put some mushrooms from the backyard in there and gave it to my grandpa, and he actually took a bite, and we kind of freaked out. And knowing what I know now, hopefully he didn't, obviously he didn't swallow it because he probably would have gotten sick, but we thought he did, and then we realized we shouldn't have done that. But it's a funny story that I look back on now. So as you can probably tell, I really enjoyed these books, and I just thought they were really cute, and I can't wait to read the third and the fourth book in February, and to move on with Betsy, Tacy, and Tib, and meet some of their other friends. And yeah, it was just really charming. So thank you to Kate and Katie and Kelly for introducing me to these books. and I can't wait to keep going. And I really like these um, PS editions. They're bind ups, and so, but I really love the spine, and yeah, I'm excited to collect these. My my rationale for collecting these books, which I really don't need one, but I try to keep my actual bookshelves to a minimum. But my rationale is that one couple of my friends have little girls that are around 3 right now. So by the time they're 5 and maybe ready for their mom to start reading these books to them, I might be ready to give them as gifts. So that's my rationale for having them. So we'll see if by the time that they are 5, if I want to give them up. So we'll see. But thank you for joining me for this hopefully quick little review of the Betsy-Tacy books. And I will be back next month for a review of the 3rd and 4th books. And I will be back before then, hopefully, to discuss my January reads and my February TBR. All right, I hope everyone is having a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!